Hey there, family. Happy Thursday, beautiful people. Woof, child. Friday is almost here, and I's not ready, but it is what it is. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to let this vitamin D soak up in my skin, because that's actually really good for my mental health. It actually helps with vibes and good energy and good flow in my brain. So I'm gonna lean into that today. I hopped on here real quick because I wanted to share something that may or may not be helpful to some people. So all of you know I love what I do. I feel very blessed and fortunate that I get to do the things that I do, and there are things that I am passionate about. There are things that I can invest my time and my energy into that are not about just cashing a check, but really about paying it forward, really about helping people who look like me, helping the next generation of young women coming behind me. So I again, super blessed to be able to do this work. Part of that sometimes is being asked to participate in events or attend certain events and activities around issues that I'm connected to or that I support. One of those being Alzheimer's and dementia. And interestingly enough, I received an invitation a few weeks ago about joining or participating and attending an event that was meant to be a global conversation about Alzheimer's and dementia, and about the disparities that exist, and what are we going to do, what should we be doing to address those and solve those. So initially, you think like, okay, yeah, that's a yes. It's in DC. It's relatively easy to get to. It's not a super long event. Like, okay, let me look. Well, I like to go and see who's putting it on, right? So who's hosting it, facilitating it, supporting it, who's sponsoring it. I like to know these things because I like to see, well, what else are you doing in this space? Is this some kind of one-off? And are you being intentional about what you're trying to do? And then I also look to see, okay, well, who else will be participating in this conversation, right? So what other subject matter experts or people have you invited who may actually speak? So I'm coming to attend. So who am I going to be coming to sit and listen to about this global conversation about Alzheimer's disparities? And not that I was shocked, I was disappointed that when I went to the events page to see the additional details, who, what, where, all that good information, there are about 9 individuals who will be panelists for this event, or be discussants for the event. Not one, and I do mean not one, was of African descent. Not one. To be honest, there was one person who possibly you could say that's a person of color, but to me, I don't like to play those games. So there wasn't even a person of color truly represented across these 9 individuals who, again, will be the primary discussants, the primary panelists for this global conversation. So I respectfully, politely declined to come spend my money on a train ticket, to come spend my money possibly on a hotel, because it's an event that is late in the evening, meaning I'll probably have to stay the night. But I didn't just decline and say thanks, but no thanks. I declined and I explained why. Because I think it's important that when we have an opportunity to maybe point something out to somebody that maybe they truly just did not see, that we do that. Now, I'm very familiar with the organization putting this on, and they should know better. They should know better. But I still wanted to take this as an opportunity to say, yes, I respectfully decline to devote my time to be able to come to something that is meant to be a global conversation when minorities make up the majority of the individuals, if we think globally, right? Black and brown people, there's more black and brown people on the planet than there are non-black and brown people on the planet. But even taking that off, you're talking about a global conversation and you're talking about health disparities. And you're doing it here in the United States. African Americans and Hispanics, specifically in this Alzheimer's conversation, we are the communities experiencing these disparities. The fact that we were not represented, not one, and I know tons of researchers, clinicians, doctors, specialists in this field who could have, should have, and I'm not saying they wasn't, but the fact that you got 9 people and you trying to tell me or make me believe, okay, you can find one black person? You couldn't find one Hispanic or Latina? Like, really? I'm not buying that. And I will always challenge people and organizations. If you really are trying to have these conversations, and more importantly, if you really are trying to identify solutions, then you better be having the right people at the table. Otherwise, I don't need to be here. I don't need to waste my time, because it's a waste of time, because nothing significant, nothing impactful is going to get done when you don't have the right people at the table. And we got too many issues and too many problems to keep trying to have conversations about health inequities, about health disparities, about whatever you want to call it. But we continue to have conversations about those communities as opposed to having the conversations with those communities, or at least people who are from those communities. So, message people, okay? Do better. Do better. There's too many of us out here beating the street and beating the pavement and in DC and in all these different places, right? Sounding the alarm, right? For what we know and we've seen play out for far too long, that continue to drive the inequities, that drive the disparities, right? We no longer don't know why. For whatever reason, though, we want to keep talking. Okay, how much we still gonna talk about, right? And again, and we talking to the same people, or we not talking to the right people. Like, it sounds like next week these people gonna be having a global conversation with the wrong people. So I said all that again to say, because it was really, again, I wasn't shocked, but I was very, very, very disappointed. Now, what I was pleased with is at least the young lady who I guess was responsible for sending out the invitation, she did respond and thanked me for providing the insight that I did, and actually said that she would share with the planner. So we will see. And I did appreciate her at least responding, because I was nice nasty with my respectfully declining to participate in this event. So again, I don't know who that's helpful for, but I again, knowing that I'm not the only one who has probably had that happen, or felt like, okay, you get invited, or you're maybe you're speaking at something and then you're speaking to an audience about health disparities and you're thinking like, these are the wrong people I'm talking to, right? And so again, maybe it's helpful, maybe it's not, but I think we got to do that more. To when we see things like that, to point that out. All right. So love you, family. Have a great one. Mwah.